Hello photo fans, welcome back to the channel. I hope this finds you well wherever you are. And this is my final reaction video to the series of videos by Wex Photo and Video, which is called the Online Masterclass. I think they do several different ones, and this one is on street photography in Paris. Okay, and it's the fourth video out of 4. Now, the first video was about the history of street photography, and that was shockingly awful in so many ways, primarily in its total lack of any historical facts, or rather the historical facts were just wrong. The historical facts it gave were wrong. They weren't facts, they were wrongs. And then we introduced to the photographer doing the masterclass. I've written a name down, so I try not to pronounce it incorrectly. Shakin Stevens, I hope that's correct. And she's a photographer from the UK. She's done, from what I can work out, mostly kind of fashion-y type stuff. I mean, they keep going on about this fashion week, street photography, if that's what we want to call it. And the second part of that first video is about how she got into photography. Oh, okay, whatever. And then the second episode was called Gear for Street. I'm going to turn my phone off now because it keeps asking me. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to turn it on to silent. Apparently you can do that. Where is it? Okay, normally it takes me like 1 second. Of course, now I'm taking a video. So where were we? Oh yeah, we were on the second episode, which was Gear for Street. And basically, you know, when you see that, oh, Gear for Street, so we're going to talk about all the possibilities you might have for street photography and gear. Okay, rangefinders, mirrorless, DSLR, point and shoots, blah, blah, blah. No, it was just what Yossi uses in her photography. And then we had the third one, which was static stills or something, and that was just awful as well. I've got a problem with that being called street photography, obviously. But even so, if you do call that street photography, and this is a masterclass, you want the photographs to be good. You want the hints and tips and stuff to be good and lead to good content and good photographs. Didn't happen. I don't know. It was just kind of not very good. Not a masterclass in static stills, whatever that is. But this one is photographing people. So yeah, let's get down to the good stuff. The good stuff of street photography, photographing people. Okay, so let's get started. I've got to do this now. I've got to do stuff.
Hi guys, we're in the last week of the masterclass, the 4th week, and we will be looking at movement and then also shooting people when it comes to street photography. So one of my favorite things when it comes to street photography is really getting people involved, also having movement in pictures. Again, it's just that beautiful.
Right, so it's photographing people as a title, but it's movement as well. And she's talking about getting people involved.
Thing of having contrast, of the still building behind, someone rushing, then there'll be people, pausing to take things in a picture, and then there's someone rushing right next to them. It just feels like you've kind of caused a scene, and there's just so many different things going on, and that's when
you've caused a scene. Okay. I'm not sure where that's going, but you've caused a scene.
And you realise, like, wow, we all live different lives, but here we are in the same place, and I've captured a moment which kind of shows, all the different, there could be different generations in a photo, when you're going past, or, animals and people, or that interaction between people kind of just seeing each other and that love between them, or someone's excitement and the amusement of being in a new city. And that's what I love about street photography and just getting people involved. and just looking out for those few things around you. So whether it's you're looking at a cafe, there's people.
So this getting people involved, I mean, I'm not sure what that means, getting people involved. Does that mean they're just in the picture, or the pictures involve people, or is it, getting people to pose and whatever? I'm not sure what that means exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Sitting and enjoying themselves, stuff like that. People just kind of sitting, taking in the weather. It's something that I really like to look for. I like to try and sometimes look for themes. So one of my themes I sometimes try and shoot when I'm doing street photography and involving people is things like relationships. So whether it's a relationship between...
Are we going to see a lot of back of the head photography? That's what I want to know. From across the other side of the street. Let's see.
Siblings that have come here, or if again, Paris, as I've said, is the city of love. It's people, you can see there are couples that are very excited to be here, and it's just very easy to kind of see those moments and just document them, which is a great way of being able to come back and be like, I have a story to tell about these people I saw, and it just makes it click all together. So I'm just going to be covering a few things during this video. For example, if you are feeling very timid about shooting people, building your confidence is something I want to help you guys work on, because I was someone that was very anxious, even when...
Okay, I think that is a good thing to want to do, because, people are, a lot of people who get into street photography are nervous about taking pictures of people. And I think there's very few who aren't at the beginning, probably. And that's something that you build up a kind of resilience as you go on. So yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it, to have some kind of addressing that issue.
When it came to just talking to people, camera removed, I really struggled with that growing up. But through photography and shooting people, I talk a lot. I'm not afraid to meet new people now or disturb people for a picture. But there are also things that you can do to build yourself up if you don't really want to dive in and you're not at the stage yet where you feel like going up to people. Because sometimes I have those days as well where I feel overly anxious, but there can...
Perhaps going around with a huge camera bag on your back and a huge camera with a huge strap on it saying Canon 5D, maybe that's one of the things she might recommend not doing.
It can be simple things such as shooting from behind people, not exactly taking face up forward shots of people. There can be a library or a bookstore and people are looking at books and they're just going through them. That could be a great shot where you're involving someone without, one, them feeling awkward, and two, yourself feeling awkward, and the chances of them feeling like, no, I don't want that picture out there, because you can't see their face, so it's not obvious to spot who they are. Things like that. Also, just like when people are moving really fast, you can set your camera up in a certain way. For example, we usually shoot where it's like a one shot, but you can change the settings of your camera to do multiple shots, so you can have that movement going through and that blur and that contrast, so you can have a bit of static going on, but then you also have that...
Okay, setting your camera up for multiple shots isn't what gives you blur. That's your shutter speed. So is she going to adjust that as well? She can say, I changed my shutter speed to get this movement in. Be interesting. Because she already said in the last one about having negative film speed or negative ISO, when she actually meant she's using exposure compensation.
Movement, which makes it nice and then also keeps people's identities kind of hidden. Another way you can kind of, avoid these issues of being worried about people is by making the most of your lens. That's why I love my 24-70, because I can do things such as zooming out if I feel like it has too much detail of people and I'm worried about, someone being like, oh, you've got me on camera. As well as zooming in if you're across the street and you see people across that you really would love to take a picture of, or it's a beautiful moment that you want to capture, then you can do that as well, which is great.
Okay, yeah, I think, I'm not really into that thing, but I guess so. I think Well, I'll come to it. I'll come to it later. What I think about this sort of stuff, maybe. I'm not a big fan. Okay, I won't come to it later. I'm not a big fan of being across the street and having a big, a zoom lens and zooming in. I'm not a fan of taking the backs of people's heads, as street photography. Okay, it might happen that, there is some interest in that, or there is a story, or there's some sort of juxtaposition or whatever, where the back of some people's heads is interesting, but just just becoming a back of a head photographer, that isn't street photography, is it? Okay, but I'll come to this a bit later.
So now I'm going to take you guys along with me and show you guys how I usually shoot street style, and as well talk you through the process as
street style. Street style. Really?
If you are someone that's been following me for a while, you would have seen my pictures, and I don't really show you guys while I'm actively doing it. So this will be a great way to kind of share my tips and tricks while I'm showing you guys what I do, and then also what I see. So let's go.
And the thing is, Paris is, I mean, I haven't been there for a while, but the last time I was there, it was really great for street photography. I really enjoyed doing it. There's so many things you can be photographing on the street. There's, it's a very varied city. All sorts of things going on, from like the tourist traps and markets to the sort of lesser known little spots and so on. It was a really great. I mean, it has been a while, so it might be total rubbish now and really horrible. I doubt it, but there's so many things, so many places, so many little places in Paris that you can do street photography. Absolutely brilliant. Let's see what she does.
So when it comes to street photography, what I like to do is I like to kind of just wander around, let it all happen naturally. So what I'm going to do now is just go for a walk, see what we come across, who we come across, and take some shots along the way.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, if you're going to a city that you've never been to before, and you want to do street photography, then there's an argument for, finding out where the busiest places are, where people are, where people are going to be. If you've got a bit more time, you can then just wander around a bit. There's an argument for either. If you're short on time, having some idea of some spots to go to, and if you have 2 weeks or something, well, you can wander around, can't you? Okay, let's see.
So one thing about me when I'm shooting street photography is I love a fruit store. I feel like every time I travel, I always just have to have one. It's like a bingo card of some sort that I like to kind of tick off. So although there are cars at the moment, when there is movement and when the street is free, I'm going to try and get a picture. I'll see how it works from over here. If the zoom isn't enough, then I just will cross the street to get that perfect shot. So again, with
Right, so this is what is wrong with taking pictures from across the street. Oh yeah, you can zoom in. Yeah, but let's go back. Where is it? Let's go back to...
is I love a fruit store. I feel like every time I travel, I always just have to have one. It's like a bingo card of some sort that I like to kind of tick off. So although there are cars at the moment, when there is movement and when the street is free, I'm going to try and...
Okay, so if you're taking the picture from that, it doesn't matter how much you zoom in, those bicycles are always going to be there. Okay, those bicycles aren't going to disappear. You can zoom in as much as you like and crop out half of the fruit stall, which if you're a fruit stall photographer. I don't know, maybe you're an avant-garde fruit stall photographer. But, you know, shooting from across the street was like, oh, if it's not enough, I'll just zoom in. Well, you know, even if that car does go, you know, you're not, those bicycles are always going to be in the way, aren't they? So, yeah, zoom in, but it's not always, it's not always possible, is it, to get the shot you want? So rather than being closer and using a wider angle lens, so that you can still get what you want in and not have those bicycles in the way, being across the street, you're never going to get rid of those bicycles.
Get a picture, I'll see how it works from over here. If the zoom isn't enough, then I just will cross the street to get that perfect shot.
Right, so even there, if I zoomed in, they're kind of zoomed in, and even, you know, I don't want to go on about this.
Here, if the zoom isn't enough, then I just will...
So that's what you're going to get. You're going to get they're bicycle handlebars. I'm a fruit shop and a bicycle handlebar photographer now. So this whole idea of being across, it makes you into more of, I don't know, something, I don't know.
Cross the street to get that perfect shot. So again, with this shot, I'm just having to play around with my ISO because it is quite bright. I'm just bringing it down minus. And again, the great thing about taking a picture of a place like a fruit stall is there are people walking past. So that's when that movement comes in, and it goes from being just static to having a lot of movement, a lot of people involved, and it just really adds character to a picture. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try and cross the road and get a bit closer and see if I can get more detailed shots of the actual fruits on display.
Right, remember, this is photographing people. Okay? Photographing people, this is called. Cock this right up, haven't I? No, I don't want to watch that, thank you.
Taking a picture of a place like a fruit stall is there are people walking past. So that's when that movement comes in, and it goes from being just static to having a lot of movement, a lot of people involved, and it just really adds character to a picture. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try and cross the road and get a bit closer and see if I can get more detailed shots of the actual fruits on display. So with this shot, I've zoomed in all the way using my 24.
So yeah, sorry about that interruption. So it's called photographing people. Now we're taking pictures of cherries.
It's a 70 lens, and I'm just trying to get all the details so you can see all the different fruits and how fresh they look, all the different colours. What I love about a shot like this is it's just very vibrant. There's so many different colours, so if you are someone that doesn't like to edit, then this picture will do the work for you, because as I mentioned,
the picture will do the work for you. What does that mean? Sorry, what does that mean? That's just meaningless, isn't it? It's just word salad. And now let's wait for it.
Canon is quite bright. It does a lot of the work.
Sorry, I can't do it. There we go.
So if you are someone that doesn't like to edit, then this picture will do the work for you, because as I mentioned, Canon is quite bright. It does a lot of the...
The Canon is quite bright. Canon is quite bright. It's a clever little camera, the Canon. Very bright. Yes. It's got very high in its sats.
Doesn't like to edit, then this picture will do the work for you, because as I mentioned, Canon is quite bright. It does a lot of the work. It's very easy to use.
So wait a minute. A minute ago, the picture was doing the work for you. Now it's the camera doing the work for you, right?
And then what you can do is slowly again start to come out and frame the picture, show more of the shop, show more detail, and give people more of an introspect to what the actual shop is, because if you zoom in, it could be any...
Introspect. Okay. Right, so remember, we're still photographing people.
Fruit stall, so now I kind of want to be like, oh, this is exactly where I am, and give more context.
Oh yeah, it's the fruit shop behind the bicycle stand in Paris. Now you know exactly where I am.
So with a shot like this where there's people walking past, you can change the settings on your camera. So usually I have mine set where it's just I'm taking the one shot, but what you can do is change it to take multiple shots so that as people walk past and you can stay and focus on the fruit, then have that blurriness and of the body and the movement going through, which is a great way to do that. So I'm just going to change and play around with that to have it on high speed continuous, just because people walk quite fast when they see you have a camera. So it's nice to kind of just have that change.
Right. So if they're blurred, if they're out of focus, that's one thing. If it's the movement, then that's about shutter speed. Okay, she's not talking about that. She's saying, oh, just put it on continuous and it'll become blah, 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 blah.
In photo from it just being just the fruits to having people's body and movement involved and just painting a picture of everyday life, taking it to another level and just adding more to a photo.
Okay, so that is movement. It's not just blurry. It's not just out of focus because she's focused on the fruit stall. That is movement there, isn't it?
So when you take a lot of pictures on high-speed continuous, if you're someone that's very, advanced, or if you've had a play around before, then you know that you can take those pictures and make it into a looped GIF of some sort. So it's just, every shot from the beginning to the end showing.
So what has that got to do with street? What? If you're very advanced with high speed, what? This is street photography. What's that got to do with anything?
People walking past, if you want to take your pictures and do something else with them and add to them again, that's another fun way to play around with them.
Right, so yeah, so I'm not going to talk about actually, settings properly about, oh, we just turn it onto high speed continuous. No, I'm not going to talk about shutter speeds and stuff like that. No, I'm going to talk about making GIFs. Masterclass.
So what I'm going to try and do now is show you guys a great example of, again, taking pictures of people if you're worried about them, how taking pictures from the back can be a great way to take pictures of people and have them in a photo without it, one, being too posed, and then two, worrying about, their safety and whether they would consent to having a picture taken of them. It just hides their identity, but again, can add so much to.
Okay, so just having people in the picture isn't what makes a good photograph, a good street photograph. Okay, I would say in a body of work, a street photographer, most street photographers, is about people. But just having the people in the picture doesn't make it a decent street photograph. Okay, so say taking a picture of that fountain, okay, and then just having two random people sitting there and you're photographing them from the back, that doesn't make it into anywhere near a decent street photograph. But it's, arguably it doesn't really turn into a street photograph, really, depending on how you define street photography and blah, blah, blah. I'm not a gatekeeper. But yeah, just having the people in isn't what makes it a street photo. It's about what is happening in your frame.
To a picture. There's like a cute older couple ahead of me. Their backs are towards me, so again, it's not disturbing them. The camera's not in their face, but that's just a theme I noticed. And
Okay. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at that, shall we?
There's like a cute older couple ahead of me. Their backs are
ahead of me. She's there. She's ahead of them. In this video, she's ahead of them. So I mean, what? But they were ahead of me, and I took some pictures, and here it is, or what?
are towards me, so again, it's not disturbing them, the camera's not in their face, but that's just a theme I noticed and I was able to kind of pick up on to get a shot and make the most of, and then using the scenery.
Where's the picture? We're not seeing any pictures. We're not seeing any actual photo. We've seen one photograph, maybe a photograph of a fruit stall, another photograph of a fruit stall with someone walking in front of it. What about that shot she just said? You know, you can't pick out, say, oh, I picked this out, I picked out that, and just, oh, there's no picture. What does that say about you as a photographer? If you're going to say, oh, I looked at this, I thought it was a good shot, or had the potential to be a good photograph, blah, 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 let's see it.
In the background, as well as having the couple there, but they're anonymous. It makes for a great...
Oh, there it is. Okay, there it is. That's a different couple.
Was able to kind of pick up on to get a shot and make the most of, and then using the scenery in the background, as well as having the couple there, but...
That looks like a different couple. Hey, what's going on here? I mean, this is just bad. Just bad, isn't it? Just awful. Pretty sure that is not the same couple from earlier. Is it? Is it the same couple from earlier? Oh, I saw this couple that were walking towards me. Where was that?
People want to have them in a photo without it, one, being too posed, and then two, worrying about, their safety and whether they would consent to having a picture taken of them. It just hides their identity, but again, can add so much to a picture. There's like a cute older couple ahead of me. Their backs are towards me, so again, it's not disturbing them. The camera's...
It's not this old, it's not this. So she's talking over this bit of video here. She's in front of them, and B, she's not talking about this couple here. She's not actually even talking about this couple here. It's about someone else.
Not in their face, but that's just a theme I noticed and I was able to kind of pick up on to get a shot and make the most of, and then using the scenery in the background, as well as having the couple there, but...
That's a different couple. That is a shockingly awful picture, isn't it? Just uninteresting. Just meh.
They're anonymous. It makes for a great, easy shot.
It's not great. It's awful. It might be easy, but it's not great.
So there's a beautiful, massive green door right across me, and again, I think I would like to kind of frame my picture around this, but have people in it. So as people are walking past, again, have my camera on high speed, continuous, and just have that movement and people walking past in the pictures to make just an easy shot. Again, that's one way I kind of like to have people involved, and then also have spaces that I really like involved, so you can frame it around the place and just wait for the right people to walk past and get that shot. Cool, so I'll just have a look at those, hoping one of these.
Okay, so we see a picture of her taking a photograph. We see a film of her taking a photograph, and there's a woman with a dog. And then, just look at these. Oh, the woman with the dog has turned into a couple of people on a scooter, on a motor scooter, moped, or whatever you want to call it. Wow, that's magic. That Canon camera really does all the work for you, doesn't it?
It's kind of worked out. But again, yeah, so having it on high speed continuous allowed me to just kind of have some photos where...
And to get that movement is more than having it on just high speed.
I've got a few people. So for example, this lady and her dog. And then you have that...
Right, now we're having the lady and her dog with these two people in front.
Commotion here where it's like a few people walking through, but the door is always still focused.
Same shot in black and white.
Which I think is great, and it's a fun way of playing around with street photography, seeing what you like. Some people like to have everything in focus, some people like a bit of commotion. It's just a nice way to have a change in the background of your photos.
So again, no talking about use of shutter speed to get that blur. I mean, that was a big blur, wasn't it? That motorcycle, the scooter going through. A lot of blur, and not out of focus, but actual motion blur. No talking about, shutter speed, changing the shutter speed or anything like that. It's just, just turn it onto high continuous, and just shoot away, and one of the pictures might be good. That's her agency in it. I'll just turn it to high speed continuous and take a load of pictures, and one of them might be good. Where's the mastery in that?
So I really like this storefront here. It's really cute. You've got all I think it's cheeses. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see very well. So what I would like to do is, take a picture here, and there are people that have just conveniently stopped in front of.
That's always good. Go out photographing without your glasses and you can't see what the products are in a shop a very narrow street away. Wear your glasses. You're supposed to be a photographer.
Conversation, and that's another thing I love. Just, having people that are talking where it's natural, it's normal.
Wait a minute.
Picture here, and there are people that have just conveniently stopped in front to have a conversation, and that's another thing I love. Just,
That's a different shop. What is going on here? That's a totally different shop. That's called Crèmerie. Thank you. Yes, I went to Paris once. I'm practically...
So I really like this storefront here. It's really cute. You've got all I think it's cheeses. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see very well.
That is not called Crèmerie, is it? It's called a Fleurin. Okay, not a lot of cheese. I can see bananas. I can see watermelon. See water. I can't see lots of cheeses. So maybe the people, maybe they've got a second unit here going on where they just go out and they film random shop fronts and whatever, and they just drop them in, to fill up the space. That is not the shop. She says she's photographing.
So what I would like to do is, take a picture here, and there are people that have just conveniently stopped in front to have a conversation, and that's another thing I love. Just, having people that are talking where it's natural.
So far away.
It's normal, and just having that framed in a picture, because it's great being on holiday, but sometimes you want to move away from those really posed photos, and just having like a real life moment where,
Okay. Yeah, I hate posed photos as much as the next person. I'm not into all that street portrait stuff. Okay. I'm not a big fan of posed pictures. But just taking... That doesn't mean all you do is take the back of people's heads. Or people in front of a shop from across the street. Not doing anything in particular. That's a false dichotomy, isn't it? It's either posed, or you take it from a long way away and it's just random people not doing anything in particularly interesting, or it's the back of people's heads.
Okay, I'm in Paris. There are other people that are here that actually live here. I want to involve them in the pictures. It doesn't have to be the Eiffel Tower. It could be moments like this, which are really nice and also tell a different story.
So far away.
This picture, I'm going to start with zooming all the way out, just so I can make the most, and working around that. So again, I've still got my camera on high speed continuous, and
what is wrong with the fucking viewfinder? Please tell me. What is wrong with the fucking viewfinder?
as people move in, I can just work on different things. And again, zoom out as you see opportunities. So now there's a bike involved, there's more movement, and there's a group of people about to walk past. And yeah, there should be a nice range to pick from here.
So where's the pictures from that series of 10 or 12 pictures that you just took?
I'll just give my camera a minute to adjust. So
a minute. So now we're at a different shop, and we're a long way away from it, and we're taking pictures of people. Amorino, I don't know what that is exactly. Looks like some sort of bar or ice cream shop or something.
again, there's loads going on in this picture.
Did they even watch this video when they edited it? Oh.
I have so many different people talking. I love having different people, different ages, just people from different walks of life. You can never tell. Someone may be a tourist, someone may live here. There's just so much variety in a picture. And yeah, that's what I meant by having those pictures where it almost looks like you're watching a movie and it's just been paused. It's just a great way of having that street photography element where it's just a bit different. Something new.
Well, that's fine, but you've got to be... You've got to have some choice about where you pause it, and yeah. Have some choice about where you pause it, and having some idea of that's going to look good. I'm going to pause it there because that's really stunning, as opposed to I'm going to pause it there and it's just a non-frame in a film.
Something exciting, and it just plays about with movement, people, and then that also static element of street photography sometimes.
A static element of street photography. So basically, this is supposed to be photographing people. It's turning into more static stills, but with people in the way. I'm doing static stills. People in the way, photography, that's what I do.
So one thing I do love about Paris, and not even just Paris actually, street photography full stop, is around summertime when doors are open, windows are open, that's something you can make use of taking pictures of people, and again, not disturbing their peace. So there's a restaurant here and I can see through the door, as the door's clear, where I can get a nice shot of someone from the back without disturbing them, without it being in their face. And it's just another way to kind of make use of how things are structured, the architecture of things, and just play around with that. That's another way I like to.
Has this I mean, they did the history of street photography earlier in part 1. In part 2 or something, she said that Martin Parr still uses a 5D. I'm more and more convinced that the first time she heard of Martin Parr was when she was told, just before they pressed record, that he still uses a Canon 5D. Because it's as if she's never seen street photography before. She's as if she's never seen any of this great street photographers' work before.
To make the most of things. So for this one, I'm going to take my camera off high speed continuous and move it to single shooting, just because I don't want to waste the shots and I don't need it.
What do you mean waste the shots? You shot like 20 pictures in a second or something stupid, and what you got was utter garbage. So now you don't want to waste the shots? What a waste. It's just numbers on a memory card.
Yeah, because there's not enough movement to worry about all of that in a picture. And as you can see, it's just the back of someone, and it's just a simple, different way to play around with it, and have someone involved without them being too involved, and making it very simple and easy.
Now, wait a minute. So the second unit's been out again, haven't it? The second unit has been out. Okay, so here we go.
Of how things are structured, the architecture of things, and just, play around with that. That's another way I like to make the most of things. So for this one, I'm going to take my camera off high speed continuous and move it to single shooting just because I don't want to.
Where's this? Is this the same place? It doesn't look like the same place, does it?
Waste the shots, and I don't need it because there's not enough movement to worry about all of that in a picture.
I mean, the window there,
and as you can see, it's just the back of someone.
The window there didn't have that writing on. The door doesn't have the writing on. It's like it was a photograph of something totally different. And it just drops it in there.
It's just a simple, different way to play around with it, and have someone involved without them being too involved, and making it very simple and easy.
It's a totally different place. The second unit. What are you doing? You didn't even have video. It's obviously a photograph that she took somewhere else. I'm on the squeaky chair again. Okay, we're 25 minutes in, and basically all she's spoken about is pictures of shops and excuse me, and people, walking in front of them and taking the pictures of the back of people's heads. It's 12 minutes, not 25 minutes, sorry. It just feels like 25 minutes. 12 minutes out of a 25-minute video. And that's all she's talked about, really.
Another way to make the most of people and actually shooting them and having them involved is through those that may be busking. It's a great way to show culture of the city that you're in, show off the talents of the people performing, and also, just dropping in a donation and just making the most of saying thank you and being able to document that. That's a great way of having street photography and just having that involved. So I found someone here and I'm going to try and get a quick shot. So with this picture, I've zoomed in all the way just to make the most of being close and getting those extra details. Usually sometimes when someone's busking, they may have their name there or their Instagram name, handle, and it's just nice to involve that as well in the picture so that if people are intrigued, they can go and find that person. So, you don't feel like you're just using that person for a moment. You are actually, I guess, in a sense, sharing that person's, music journey, and who knows, it could lead to something, especially if your picture does end up going viral. It's just a nice way to kind of really involve the person who you're taking a picture of. But in this instance, there is no handle. But again, it's just nice to really zoom in, getting all the extra details you can see from the instrument they're playing to, what they're wearing. It's really fun to kind of really involve them and just make the picture all about them and that moment. So
That's what it's all about, this, isn't it? It's about going viral. It's about being an influencer. I mean, she is an influencer. That is her background, basically. She's not a street photographer, really, is she? So, you see her viral picture.
It's nice to really zoom in, getting all the extra details you can see from the instrument they're playing to, what they're wearing. It's really fun to kind of...
That is the most vanilla photograph of a busker ever, isn't it? Oh yeah, get in, get the detail of their instrument, or you could just step back and take a really ordinary, uninspiring record shot, which is basically what it is. Oh, but it's got a French word in the background on the street sign, so that means it's in France. Bound to go viral.
Kind of really involve them and just make the picture all about them and that moment.
How are they being involve them? Oh, okay. So he's looking over his glasses. Okay, great.
So one other way, again, where you can take pictures of people, kind of have them aware but not really disturbed, is making the most of coffee shops and restaurants where people are sitting outside, because that is the trend and that is what people do, especially when the weather is so nice. So that's what I like to do. I kind of like to make the most of being able to zoom in and then taking that picture from across.
Why don't you just get up a bit closer and take a decent picture? Look at that lamppost in the way. You can't, zoom in as much as you want. That lamppost is always going to be annoying and restrictive to your angle of view. If you get in a bit closer so that lamppost is not in front of you, then, you know, the world is your lobster, isn't it?
Across the street, where it's not literally just standing at the restaurant like in their face and then it's like, we'd like you to move. It can be a lot, you know. So what I like to do is stand across from a street and just zoom in as much as I can, and that's why it's again great to have zoom lens or fixed lens where it really is zoomed in, which is why moments like this.
What? A fixed lens where it's really zoomed in? You mean a longer, you mean a telephoto lens?
It's just like I'd rather have my 50 in my backpack and just have it for a different moment and just make the most of my 24 to 70. And again, there's just people.
Okay. She's got to talk about the backpack because it's something that they're trying to sell. If you go back to the gear, excuse me. If you go back to the gear video, she goes on about how brilliant it is, even though clearly it's the first time she's ever used it.
People crossing in the street, so it just adds more to the picture, especially when people are on bikes and using things like that. I like to try and get a shot of them going through as well, because that's just another way, again, to add movement to a shot without having to do too much, making the most of the people around you and just using that movement without having to create too much yourself. Great way to do it when people are riding by on bikes, motorbikes. Again, just adds a lot more character. So I've just taken my first portrait of someone while doing my street photography. It seems like a really hard thing, and I feel like a lot of us psych ourselves up. It's all in the head where we're just like, if I ask this person for a picture, they're going to say no. And that's how I felt as well when I started out, you know, first taking pictures of people. And actually it's a really lovely process where when that person says yes, and most of the time, I kid you not, 90% of the time, they are really friendly about it. As long as, you know, you've kind of asked them first before, just creating that rapport, creating that friendship, you know, where you just kind of.
So the first thing she goes for is the street, after the, you know, the joke that is what has gone before, is the street portrait.
Kind of talk to them. You also get to know them, which is lovely. For example, that lady there, I was just kind of talking to her, asking her about whether she could speak English, and between the little French I speak and the little English she speaks, we were able to kind of talk, get a conversation going, and then I asked her after buying something whether she wouldn't mind if I take a picture of the store, and then as well take a picture of her, and she said yes. And it was that simple.
Right, so she's the stall owner, is she? So you bought something and you got chatting. Oh, by the way, can I take a picture? Great transaction.
I was able to kind of, you know, walk away now with a picture of someone and a little story that I'm able to tell, because it literally, I asked one question and it went well. And even if it didn't, you just keep going, because someone will say yes. And
sorry, have we seen the picture that she took?
When that person says yes, and most of the time, I kid you not, 90% of the time, they are really friendly about it, as long as, you know.
Yeah, so here she is, she's there. She is clearly
it's all in the head, but it's like,
picture.
If I ask this person for a picture, they're going to say no. And that's how I felt as well when I started out, you know, first taking pictures of people. And actually it's a really lovely process where when that person says yes, and most of the time.
So here she is, she's giving the impression she's just walked up there, and she's clearly, I mean, I don't know if this is before or after or whatever, you don't know because it's just mad. She's clearly trying to take a picture, you know, trying to look as if she's taking some sort of candid moment. And yeah, and next thing she's talking
it's
about.
All in the head, but it's like, if I ask this person for a picture, they're going to say no. And that's how I felt as well.
Next thing, she's getting the woman to pose for her, having bought something.
When I started out, you know, first taking pictures of people, and actually it's a really lovely process where when that person says yes, and most of the time, I kid you not, 90% of the time, they are really friendly about it, as long as, you know, you've kind of asked them first before, just creating that rapport, creating that friendship, you know, where you just kind of talk to them. You also get to know them, which is lovely.
What?
For example, that lady.
Let's see the picture. Come on, show us the picture.
There, I was just kind of talking to her, asking her about whether she could speak English, and between the little French I speak and the little English she speaks, we were able to kind of talk, get a conversation going, and then I asked her after buying something whether she wouldn't mind if I take a picture of the store, and then as well take a picture of her, and she said yes. And it was that simple. I was able to kind of, walk away now with a picture of someone and a little story that I'm able to tell, because literally I asked one question and it went well, and even if it didn't, you just keep going, and someone will say yes, and don't take it personally.
Surely you asked 2 questions. How much does this cost? And first 3 questions. How much does this cost? Do you take cash or card? And can I take your picture?
Because it's a thing where some people just don't like having their photo taken. I'm the same sometimes. Some days I feel like having photos taken of me. Some days I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. It's really not as bad as you think.
Oh,
you just need to...
There is the picture. People call that street photography. It's not street photography, is it? It's a portrait of someone you've just met. That isn't street photography. Sorry, I've just got to say it. And that is not... This is the thing. People take that, and I've said this before, I'm going to say it again, that is not throwing shade on people who do that. It's just not street photography. Sorry.
Push yourself, and it feels really good when you push yourself and it actually works out. It's just like, oh, I want to do this again.
It's that same couple again. It's the same couple that I think she's stalking them, that she took from behind. Now she's taking them from in front. Still just as awful. I don't know.
So we are another spot that is really popular on Instagram, all over on blogs, and that people really like to come and visit. And it's one of those ones where I would love to have people involved with this one, but at the moment it's not exactly, filled with life. So
right, it's really popular. It's on Instagram a lot. Blah, blah, blah. Lots of people come here. There's no one here now. Instagram, viral, blah, 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 blah.
So this is what I like to call one of those moments where it's like a shoot and wait shot. So I like to kind of find a location and then wait until I feel like the perfect moment comes, or the perfect...
She speaks as if she's just invented it. What's it called? It's fishing, isn't it? Fishing and hunting. Fishing, it's kind of fish. You wait, you find a scene, and you wait for the people to come in and add something to it. Have some juxtaposition with the scene, or some interaction with each other, or they're all wearing orange, hats, and the background is orange, blah, 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 all that sort of thing. Okay. She makes it sound like she's invented it. But she's called it a different name. That's what's important.
Another spot that is really popular on Instagram, all over on blogs, and that people really like to come and visit. And it's one of those ones where I would love to have people involved with this one, but at the moment it's not exactly, filled with life. So this is what I like to call one of those moments where it's like a shoot and wait shot. So I like to kind of find a location and then wait.
That's what I call it.
Until I feel like the perfect moment comes, or the perfect people pass by, and it just creates that moment, adds the movement, adds a bit of like a dynamicness, if that's even a word, I may have made that up, to a photo. So that's what I like to do. So I'm just going to show you, how I wait and get that picture, and how I get the movement going and those shots. So usually with moments like this, is either I'll turn my camera to...
So she's saying that she gets the movement going. Really? So she's waiting there for the right thing, and then she gets the movement going. That's interesting. That's a skill I'd like to learn, wouldn't you?
I wait and get that picture, and how I get the movement going and those shots. So usually with moments like this, is either I'll turn my camera to low speed continuous or high speed continuous, depending on how much and how much focus I want in that picture and how many people are passing by. Either one of those can work. I suggest playing around with both and seeing which you like, or maybe you're just a one-shot person where you want everything in focus. That can be me some days, but some days I do like to mix it up just to see how I feel. Cool. So that really wasn't the shot I wanted. In that moment, there was quite a few people passing.
That really wasn't the shot I wanted, but I still took 10 pictures of it anyway. There's no... Okay, so coming back to this, this high-speed continuous blah, 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 or close, and this is... she doesn't talk about, the effect of aperture and the effect of shutter speed. Those are the tools you need to be using if you want to change your depth of field or to get motion and stuff like that. But those are just things that, No, I don't need to talk to you about this. I need to talk about high-speed continuous.
Through, and it was just way too much focus away from the person that I wanted to shoot, which was the one guy sitting at the cafe already, just peacefully sitting there. So this is what I mean by when I say that there can be too much going on and you just have to sit and wait for an opportunity to come by where it's literally...
Well, when that happens, you get closer. You get closer. There's too much happening around. Get closer. Cut it out. Which is difficult if you're across the street and people... It doesn't matter how much you zoom in, the person walks in front of the camera, and they're still walking in the camera. It's not an X-ray camera, is it?
The street is quiet, it's perfect, it's just that person, and then there isn't too much chaos, because sometimes it can be nice to have a lot of people moving and a lot of movement, but sometimes it's nice to have street photography where it's just a single person. It's still, there's nothing going on, it's paused, everything is just still, the background is in focus, the person is in focus, and it's just simple. Cool, so I think I've got the shot now. It can be one of those things where people, go up to a restaurant, they're interested and they start to look at the menu, but I've waited and those people have left and it was empty and I was perfectly able to get that shot of the person just sat there enjoying their time without them being, overshadowed or too much going on. So lastly, I just want to remind you guys that if you've been tuning in, you can apply all the things we've kind of gone through over the last few weeks when you're shooting people as well, or it comes to things like symmetry, or it comes to looking for things like themes. For example, I mentioned people wearing two hats. You can look around for those kind of things, as well as using like rule of thirds. It can be applied to people, it can be applied all over, so don't feel like you have to limit yourself to one thing. If I've said it in one part, everything applies. Feel free to mix it up, feel free to do your own thing, feel free to kind of take what I've said with a pinch and then adapt it into your own kind of thing. That's the great thing about photography. You can do what you want, you can explore, there's no one...
So there we go. That is an ideal example, isn't it?
One thing, if I've said it in one part, everything applies. Feel free to mix it up, feel free to do your own thing, feel free to kind of take what I've said with a pinch and then adapt it into your own kind of thing. That's the great thing about...
There you go. So there we go. Look at that frame there. So she's obviously a fair distance away from the subject, probably zoomed in some amount. That bollard there, doesn't matter how much you zoom in, still going to be there. Also, her framing is this person on the right, just their arm, a bit distracting. I mean, to be honest, even without that there, it would still be a totally awful picture. But, yeah. That bollard is always going to be there.
About photography, you can do what you want, you can explore, there's no one way of doing things, you can do what makes you feel comfortable and you can focus on the things that you also feel comfortable shooting as well. So yeah, I hope this has helped. So guys, we have made it to the end of the masterclass. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you guys have learned. I just want...
Okay, and that's where we come to the end of the masterclass, except we've got another 6 minutes or 5.5 minutes left. In what world is this a masterclass? In what alternative universe, alternative reality is this a masterclass? Maybe I should come back to this at the end. I might, this last 5.5 minutes, there might be something there that changes my mind.
I want to leave you with a few things that I would really love to give as advice, or a few tips to take forward as we end this. So the first piece of advice I would love to give is to not be afraid to go up to people, to try a different building, to try something out your comfort zone, to also go back to the basics and build yourself up. Just don't be afraid to do anything. Like, literally, it's a process. You're not always going to be amazing when you first get going. I have those days where it's a bit of a slow burner, and by the end.
Okay, that is profound. I mean, it's true, but it's kind of obvious, isn't it? You're not going to be brilliant the minute you start, and you're going to have an off day, even if you do get good. And even she, the master of street photography, has off days, which is, very comforting.
And I feel amazing. Or you have those days where it goes great from.
Let's go back, because sometimes she doesn't feel amazing, apparently.
To also go back to the basics and build yourself up. Just don't be afraid to do anything. Like, literally, it's a process. You're not always going to be amazing when you first get going. I have those days where it's a bit of a slow burner, and by the end, I feel amazing. Or you have those days where it goes great from the start, but don't count yourself out, don't give up, because there could be a shot around every corner. That's the thing with street photography. You never know who you're going to run into, what you're going to see, and that's the beauty of it. The second piece of advice I would give is to practice. The saying is practice makes perfect, but practice also just kind of gets you used to things. It gets you out your comfort zone. It gets you learning what you like, what you dislike, and eventually you'll kind of get into a mojo where it's just like, okay, I know what I'm looking out for, and it won't be a thing where you spend ages at places and you're like, oh, I hate this shot by the end of it. You'll know already in terms of weather conditions, in terms of your camera, whether you're like, no, this isn't for me, and it just will save you time. So just keep practicing, keep trying different things, you never know. And my last piece of advice would be to play around with what you have. Don't feel limited, because I started out with my 700D from Canon, and I thought this is a great camera in terms of spec if you look at all the other ones. But again, that got me so many opportunities, and I really pushed myself with that camera. I traveled with it, I shot fashion with it.
Okay, I just started with 700D. I mean, that's a decent camera. That's a decent camera that she started with, and then she got this 6D or whatever she's got. In the previous video, she talks about all the cameras she's ever used. So, there's a bit of a disconnect there.
I tried nature with it. I tried so many different things, and I just found that when it came to taking portraits and doing street photography, I really loved the camera, and I really loved what it could do for me.
Well, it'd be good if the things she said she tried with it were illustrated with pictures of those things.
Play around with what you have. Don't feel limited, because I started out with my 700D from Canon, and I thought this is a great camera in terms of spec if you look at all the other ones. But again, that got me so many opportunities, and I really pushed myself with that camera. I traveled with it, I shot fashion with it, I tried nature with it, I tried so many different things, and I just found that when it came to taking portraits and doing street photography, I really loved the camera, and I really loved what it could do for me. As well as also adding in my 24-70 lens. That just changed the game for me completely, because I felt very limited with my 50, but 50 is a great place to start. So just try and play around with what you have, and also don't feel the need to kind of stretch yourself or put yourself out when it comes to money to buy the latest thing, because it can be a lot, and just make do with what you have. A lot of the greats started off with smaller things and they work their way up, and some of them still will tell you that one of their first cameras is their favorite that they ever shot with, so don't feel the need to push further than that. So one career tip I would give is to be authentic, be yourself. It's something that I really struggled with. I kind of came into the game when I started and thought I had to do what everyone else was doing, kind of portray myself in a certain way to be liked, to, get those opportunities coming through the door. And that wasn't the case. I felt very overwhelmed. I felt like I couldn't be myself on my platforms. And when I was being most true to myself and sharing the things that I really cared about, that was actually when I was attracting the jobs that I was really most excited about. I was working with the companies that I really loved. And it 6 years into me, freelancing, and it was last November where I realized that actually I want to go back to being my authentic self. I want to start all over, scrap everything, take those opportunities away and build myself back up again and be like, hi, this is me, this is Yossi, this is the real me. And it just feels so much better. Personally for me, I just feel like I can be myself. When people go on my website and go on my page, they know who I am, they know who they're dealing with, they know who they're potentially hiring, so it's not a case where when I get to a shoot and it's just like a...
Right, so here's the thing. This isn't about street photography, is it? It's about her as a photographer and what she does, blah, 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 blah. And she's coming from this as, before the big thing, her big, becoming authentic thing. It was all about influencing, I think, in one way. And now it's just influencing in a different way. And I mean, you go out in the streets of London and, street photography is, to a lot of street photographers, is just something they do when they're not doing their proper job. And if they are making a living out of street photography, it's either through workshops and stuff like that, or YouTube even. Her talking about being a professional street photographer, it's just, it's for the birds, isn't it? It really is. And it's just another example of she doesn't actually seem to know what she's talking about.
Oh, you aren't who I thought you were, or your art seems different from who you are. It feels a bit detached. I feel like when you see me and see my work now, you know who I am and what my work represents.
Yeah, you're a rubbish photographer. Sorry, that is rubbish. Oh, it's a picture, it's the back of someone's head. Of someone looking through, it's from far away. This is supposed to be a masterclass, and that's all we've done. Oh, back of a head, far away, and a one street portrait. What happened, look at all the street photography greats. Why aren't you talking about the stuff that they did? It's supposed to be photographing people. Why aren't you looking at that? Why aren't you trying to do that? Why aren't you trying to get in close? Why aren't you trying, all sorts of things? Oh no, I just do this. Oh, and it's, you got to, get out of your comfort zone. This is all just comfort. This whole thing is comfort. The whole series, comfort. That's what equipment I use. Oh, streets, static stills. Oh, this is what I do. And now people, this is what I do. This is all about your comfort zone and very little else.
And it's just a great feeling to have that. So I really do recommend trying to stay true to you, because it can be very easy to lose yourself, and I do not blame anyone.
Is that what we're calling street photography? It's a picture of a street. It must be street photography.
I have done it myself. I hold my hand up and say that I've been there, but it just, in the long run, you will kind of wish that you kept that.
Sorry, where have you been?
I feel like when you see me and see my work now, you know who I am and what my work represents, and it's just a great feeling to have that. So I really do recommend trying to stay true to you, because it can be very easy to lose yourself, and I do not blame anyone. I have done it myself. I hold my hand up and say that I've been there, but it just, in the long run, you will kind of wish that you kept that one thing that makes you special, because again, with photography, it can be very easy to come off and seem very the same. So that's the thing that sets you aside. That's what makes you different from someone else. Whether you guys shoot with the same gear, you're different people, you've come from different places, and it's different paths that have got you to that same place. And if you've taken anything from this, we'd love to see your photos using the hashtag WexHowTo. They'll be posting their favorite ones, the best ones, and I also would love to see if anyone took anything from this and, see how you guys are growing, what you've taken, what you're learning, what you're applying. It's just great to see, how people are doing and what they found most useful. Because sometimes it feels when you're shooting, you're not really doing anything specifically, but actually talking to you guys and going through this, it's been great for me as well, because I'm like, wow, actually I do a lot more than I think I do. I'm not just pressing buttons. I actually am so let me think about that word. I'm subconsciously doing things in the background without really thinking about it, and it's great to actually.
That's great, but the things you're doing are just, not adding up to much, are they? Those subconscious things. Well, just imagine how awful everything would be if you weren't doing them. Is that mean of me? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be mean. She seems like a really nice person, but I think she's out of her depth in this. And that's not her fault. I mean, if Wex came up to me and said, "Oh, could you do a master for videos in Paris, and we'll pay you lots of money, or some money, and you get some, a nice trip to Paris," I'd jump at it. And I'm no master of street photography.
It's just great to see, how people are doing and what they found most useful. Because sometimes it feels when you're shooting, you're not really doing anything specifically, but actually talking to you guys and going through this, it's been great for me as well, because I'm like, wow, actually I do a lot more than I think I do. I'm not just pressing buttons. I actually am let me think about that word. I'm subconsciously doing things in the background without really thinking about it, and it's great to actually realize these things. So thank you guys also for helping me realize that actually I'm doing quite a lot when I'm shooting.
Yeah, but we haven't had a conversation. You'll see, this hasn't been a conversation, has it, between us? You're talking as if we're chatting. Hello, can you hear me, Yossi? No, it's just been you. It's like a one-sided conversation. It's like what you hear on the on the bus with someone on the phone talking really loudly as if they don't actually need the phone, because the person can hear them all that way away. But you're just hearing one side of a conversation. There's no conversation. There's no interaction here. Sorry. Just like in your photography.
There's more to it than just, throwing on my phone, editing and seeing an opportunity. There's a lot that's gone through that process of getting that image at the end and that result. So you guys can find me online if you're interested. Again, I'm Yossi Akinsanya, and you can find me on Instagram at Yossi Akin, or you can find me on TikTok at Yossi Akinsanya, and this has been great. And lastly, thank you so much to Canon and Wex Photo and Video for this opportunity. It has been amazing, and a massive, massive special thank you to you guys that have tuned in. I hope you've taken from this, I hope you've learned something, and see you guys soon.
Okay. Well, there we are. There we have it. Let's make myself bigger, shall we? Let's make myself big. Oh, there we are. Okay, so... Hello? Hello? So there we have it. That's the last episode. I would ask you to go and look at the videos. I don't think it's fair of people just to react to videos and even a tiny channel like me, without inviting people to go and look at the whole thing, and indeed go and look at Yossi's work. Okay, I haven't looked at her website for a little while, so it might be a little bit better now than it was then. I'll have another look at it probably. I mean, there might be some nice stuff there. So that's the last one in the series of 4. And I don't think it was really much better than the others. I mean, so the first one, the history, awful. Gear for street, kind of restricted to what Yossi uses. And then the static stills, I'm not a really big fan of that anyway, so I was never really going to like it, but it wasn't good. I mean, if it's good, I'll say, oh, that's good, that's interesting, whatever, but it really wasn't, was it? And now this people thing, this photographing people, it was all very, very, very awful. No, that's unfair, isn't it? I mean, she made a few good points in there, but The actual photography, not really. I mean, the first half was basically static stills, what she'd been doing in the static stills ones, and then we introduced, people walking through the frame, and the thing with that is that actually that is where your fishing thing comes in, where you sit and you decide on the scene, and then you wait for the person to walk through, and that person walking through has some, hopefully, if it's any good, has some kind of, there's an interesting juxtaposition between the person and the background and the scene. Yeah, so there's a few good things in there, but really, I mean, if you go into and pick up a book of street photography, and then you go and see that, then you're not, it'll soon come to realisation that that has not been a masterclass in any shape or form. And like I said earlier, that's no shade on Yossi. That's no shade on Yossi. But I think she was really out of her depth. She doesn't seem to have the kind of knowledge just on the technical front. And it's just kind of, I'll play around with it and see what happens type of thing. Well, that's not real advice, is it? I'll just play around. Well, play around in what? Give me some clues. Give me some tips. Yeah, so give me some advice. It's a master class. So yeah, so all in all, pretty poor. And if we look at the WEX, okay, so WEX, they have got 123,000 subscribers. 123,000 subscribers. This video was made 2 years ago, 19th of January, well, 3 years ago now, and it has had 2,049 views. Pretty sure 49 views of those were mine. So, they've got a lot of subscribers, but if you look at the videos, there's not many people looking at them. YouTube is washed with gear stuff, isn't it? And, this is basically a channel by a retailer, so there's a lot of gear stuff on there. They've got a lot of followers, or subscribers, but I think most of the subscribers probably subscribe because they're interested in a particular camera or a particular camera brand, and that's where they get all their traffic from. Clearly, not because they're interested in street photography. Anyway, so that's that. Overall, I think this was awful. Wex, if you want, I'll gladly help you make a less awful version. But from the history of street, which was, that was shocking, absolutely shocking, to the actual photography bits, not particularly inspiring. And the thing is, if you're strike it as a masterclass, okay, it's a masterclass. You expect the person doing it to be some sort of master or very good at what they're doing, and you want what they produce to be really good. Okay, it's a masterclass. Okay, you want what they produce to be really good, and that just wasn't there in the end. Sorry, that's just the fact of it. Most of those pictures, there was no story going on, there was no moment, there was no, all the things, all the good stuff you're looking for in street photography. So overall, not very good. The rest of these reactions, you'll find a link is in a playlist, and I'll put the links to the other videos, the other 3 videos, in the old description. Thank you for watching. Sorry about the delay in doing this 4th one, and I'm going to start doing some more reaction videos about individual photographers rather than this sort of masterclass thing, and just looking at different street photographers on YouTube. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Ooh.